The first thing you got to realize is what spices go into the dish. So there will be saunf, there will be cumin seeds, jeera, there will be a few cloves, there will be a blade of tej pata or bay leaf, cinnamon or cassia, green cardamom for sure, and also black cardamom. Now black cardamom is very, very intense. Now because they're being ground, toasted and ground, they're already cooked. So you never cook the garam masala, you always add them at the very last. For the spice powders, you got to realize that there are only 4 basic spices. There is turmeric powder, there is chili powder, there is cumin powder, and there is coriander powder. These 4 spices form your soul or the heart of the dish because they impart the color and the flavor to the dish. So when you're cooking your dish into your pan or you're creating a stock, the bones are extremely important because they carry the most amount of flavors. And once you brown your onions, they impart a color to the dish, the nice kind of a caramel color. The ginger garlic paste holds all the masala together. I don't like to use too much fat in the khana. So as much as possible, I try and use oil. So we actually boil water with spice powders. So they've got turmeric and red chili and salt, and we add up potatoes in them. So every bite you get of the potato also has flavor into it. So the best way to feel is with the palm of your hand, you put it above the oil, and if that becomes warm, you know the pan is ready. First step, you're going to add in a little saunf, and you can see it begin to crackle. Then goes in the jeera, then your tej pata, small piece of cinnamon, a couple of cloves, 1 black cardamom, and a few green cardamom. And then goes in the onion. And all we do now is we're going to cook the onions till they brown up. So once the onions brown, and then you add in your meats or the potatoes, or you add in the water or a stock, then the natural color of the onions are released into the dish. Now, so at this stage, then is when we add our mutton. And what we do here now is basically we're trying to sear the meat from the outside with the hot oil and the spice. So this is done. At this stage, you add in a paste of ginger and garlic. Now ginger and garlic, it starts when you cook it, it begins to stick at the bottom of the pan. But at the same time, it starts to seal the meat also. Now when things stick at the bottom of the pan, they have a lot of flavor in them. So you have to keep on scraping it. So that is known as khurachana. So when you scrape or khurcha the pan, all the flavors literally come back into the meat. Okay, the meat is now seared with all the masala and the onions. Now go in the spices. Now the ratio is very important. I want it to be darker in color, so I'll use less of the haldi mirchi. So literally a teaspoon of that. Chili again, personal preferences, but I just think with the meat, I like to make it a bit spicy, and you can take a good amount of flavor. Now these don't give much color, but they give a very nice flavor. As you can see, I'm going to add more dhania and more jeera. And all I do now is just mix it together. Now the spice powder, they literally form your heart or the soul or the character for the dish, because they help to bring everything together onto the pot. You can see how it covers and camouflages, and because there is moisture within the lamb and the masala, it doesn't burn. That process is very, very important of understanding the profile of the spices. So if I cook it for too long, it will tend to burn. So you use normal water. And you see, when you add the water into the lamb, everything which is in the pan, which is stuck at the base, is again released into the pot. So you see the sides get all cleaned up, and you look at the color of the gravy or the oil of the water. It takes in a lot of the color of your spices and the masala. Now as this is going to cook for a while, you then add in your potatoes. Now all you have to do is wait for the lamb to cook, wait for the potatoes to cook, and when they're almost done, at that stage you add in tomato. So it could be into a puree form, could be into a chop form. Then lastly what you add is, which my mom used to always do, was to add lime, nimbu ka juice. So a good squeeze of lime. So it's perfectly okay. And then a little taste. Ooh. Switch off the heat. And last is fresh kothmir and coriander. And ready to serve. And the dish is ready to go.